New hopes and new affection, the same old act with the same intention. I'm telling you, I don't wanna back at all. Down the same old road, doing the same old thing. You tell me change is in the near distance, but all I see is your blatant resistance to make this thing great. And I can't wait or bear another promise turned into a heartache. All I know is here we go again. Round and round and round. Here we go again. Round and round and round and round. Here we go, baby. Here we go again. Round and round and round. Here we go. Here we go again. Feeling like I should just call it all quits. Then I start to think about the time invested. All the maybes keep my heart.
And welcome to another edition of the New Black Leadership Coalition. Here live on Facebook, streaming live over the internet. My name is Gregory Sane. Stake your claim with Brother Gregory Sane, here with two of my favorite people. One of them, two of them, three of them. There's so many, but the lists go on and on when it comes to the members of the New Black Leadership. And we're very, very thrilled, we're blessed and honored. Everything happens by divine order. And we're sitting here today with a brother that is the son of one of my heroes. I really could say one of my mentors, his father, the Honorable Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton, the Honorable Fred Hampton, the chairman of the Black Panthers, and somebody that in my building where I grew up on 4040, we loved the Panthers, man. If it wasn't for them, we skipped a lot of breakfast if it were not for the Black Panthers, brother. So I am so grateful to Almighty God that he blessed your father with the character, the heart, and the love for humanity. And he saw the suffering of our people, and God inspired him to take a stand. It wasn't about some radicalism and some stupid communism or some anti-American. It was all about pro-life, pro-freedom, justice, and equality for our people and people of different nationalities. So again, I am very, very thrilled and honored, brother, to have you on. And the Fred Hampton Jr., Chairman Fred Hampton. His mama always makes sure you call him Chairman. You call him just Fred Hampton. She said Chairman. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. It's good to have you. We got in the studio, and then we're going to come right back to you, Minister Michael Muhammad. Many of you all know this, and some who have not known this, but he was in, and still is, but he's a lot more youthful now. But I met him when he was even more youthful. And the first student, they call them student ministers now, but he was the youth student minister for the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, a student at Julian High School. Man, speaking truth to power way back then, organizing students.
Yeah.
So he organized a student movement at Julian High School, and it was an amazing, phenomenal that really impressed the heck out of Brother Farrakhan because he was able to see the fire in Minister Mike. And I am going to talk about the fire that's in you, the fire that's in him, the fire that's in me. What is that fire? What is that passion that we have, that we are absolutely interested in making a difference in our community? So I said all that to say, good evening, brother. What's going on with you, brother Fred?
Hey, good evening, brother. Good to be here. Good to be back with you. Good to be black with you. I just literally just got back in this morning from the West Coast, Los Angeles. In particular, we've had some of our survival programs, in particular the Triple C's, Children, Community, and Cubs, kind of like in the same spirit of Black Panther Party Free Breakfast Program. So we've been setting it up, throughout the country, throughout the world, better yet. So just also did some chapter checks on what's going on up in Northern California. So, right back in here, all Panther paws down, back on the ground, organizing. And I actually was on another show, and I got the word. My brothers requested my presence to be here. And I said, kind of like I told Sister Ramona Africa a move. She said, "Well, what you gonna be doing in May?" I said, "Well, Ramona, when you called me, that's what I'm doing in May. That's not a question. That's let me know I'm there." So my brothers. New Black Leadership say, "Can Chairman come on, get online with us for a minute?" Hey, ain't no question. I'm on deck. I'm here, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's good. That's great. I told the people over Facebook, and sometimes it might sound like I'm trying to be controversial, but I'm really not. I wouldn't have really had too much to say about our brother, and the black community have fell in love with his brother, who is probably one of the most articulate, academically gifted, um, comes to even just his ability to stay on script, especially with teleprompts. Brother Barack Obama was in town yesterday, and I was reading some of the Facebook post and some of the news articles, a few of them, and I wasn't really that thrilled, or more so that it didn't really mean much to me, because I think when he was in position, he still can do a lot of good. And I know it's very difficult to have this conversation when your people they in love with symbol versus substance. And I get it. The first black president. I mean, nothing is so powerful. Nothing is so much powerful than just that. The first black president, and a brilliant brother with a brilliant wife, and beautiful children. But I have to call it like, I see it. And when you think about everything that we're fighting for, everything that we continue to struggle for, the reason why the new black leadership uh, uh, took a position to decide to organize and come back together is because there's been a huge neglect of the conditions, of the bad conditions of our people, the messages, the individuals who have integrity, who care enough to not be corrupt, to believe in accountability, and to challenge those that continue to play games. And so I know he went over to Pullman and out in that area, and our brother really never was a community organizer. I know one of our members, brother Bamani Obadeli, actually he took Barack Obama around and kind of introduced him to many areas in the community. But and the only reason I want to talk about this just a bit is because I'm not impressed with star power unless your star power is going to advance the cause of our people. And just based on stats, based on data, our people are in a worse condition. I mean, it's been 4,500 killings in 8 years while he was president. Poverty has increased. Yeah, there was some movement when it came to unemployment, but that was for the national number. But for black people, that number was 12%. And so the numbers have been negative as related to bailing out black people. We didn't have a bailout economically. The big banks and big business got bailed out. I never heard him, and I wanted to hear Barack say reparation. I wanted to hear him say black. I think he might have used the word one time, if that. I did hear him say it at least once, and I was very surprised. And so this is not a Barack Obama beat up Barack Obama. It's just to put things in perspective, because when you go crazy over symbol and not substance, and you don't really look at the fact that, you know, you got to go over to the University of Chicago. Why didn't you go over to Northeastern? Why didn't you go to Chicago State? So who selected you? And that's why right to this day, I was very disappointed, because there's no way under the sun I am going to be happy with you until you humble yourself. They made him a rock star. And to this very day, he have not apologized to his own pastor, Reverend Wright, who's not doing well. Still can speak, but the brother is paralyzed. I understand. You know, having some health issues. And then the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, who lives right down the street, and invited the brother when did nobody know him to the house. So the bottom line is, keep making excuses all you want. You could make them. And you could say what you want to say. Yeah, he was much better than Trump. Absolutely. I mean, Trump can't even be in the same room with him, or Bill Clinton. But I don't want you to get it twisted. They were white presidents. So we wanted him to be a psychedelic president. Didn't want the man even to be black. And then you hear the same stupid excuses. Well, you know, he the president for everybody. Why do we say that when a black man get in? But I mean, I don't want to stay on this subject. I just felt like, you know, it's a difficult task. That's why to hear from you and Minister Mike, it is one, because when your people are asleep, look at the Urban League, the Chicago Urban League. They produce reports, all kind of folks, about the poverty, about the gangs or no gangs, or the loss or no loss, and they show that our people are doing worse after Barack Obama was in office. Now, I know some of you are going to say, blame Congress. And you can blame Congress. You can blame all those clowns. But there was some executive power issues that I believe he could have gotten past the Senate and the Congress. And I don't think the effort was there. I don't know what you think, Minister Mike, Brother Fred, but I just had to put that out there. I love Brother Barack and his family, but I'm very disappointed that our people right now is suffering more after his presidency. And it don't make sense.
Well, we took him. We took the Black Panther Party because we took a quote unquote unpopular position, early on, even in regard, even taking into account his resume when he was a senator. There was never no connection with the black community. It wasn't there. And definitely, that's a blatant contradiction. This facade about this community organized. I was like, when was this happening? I never knew nothing about it. It was like watching the movie Manchurian Candidate. It was a whole fraud put up, and we had to be, and we, as you just stated, our people have been deprived of so much, not to, they look for just a bit of a symbolism, anything,
Right.
And in fact, it can be equated to a narcotic, because like our position was and is also that Barack Obama was the coldest drug that America dropped on blacks since crack. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be careful how you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because like even trying to approach, you can look at some of our people. Literally, you can look at their eyes. You bring in logic and stats and facts to them, not hearing it. Like literally trying to take a spike out of someone's arm in a dope house, explaining them the detrimental impact of dope. All the logic you're talking about, it's going over their head. This individual, Thomas Paine, I hate to quote this criminal, but I'm going to quote him. He said, like, even trying to bring logic, try to debate or argue with someone who's not dealing with logic is like giving medicine to the dead. You know what I'm saying? And in many cases, we had that. And it was a necessary stage that we had to go through. Like, I think is either Kwame Nkrumah or Amir Cabral. One of them said, neocolonialism is the last stage of capitalism. The neocolonialism, in other words, white power disguised in black faces, or white power disguised in brown faces, whatever respective community they're oppressing. So it's a necessary stage, and it's also for history. Also, we need to take note who helped sell that drug, who helped provide, who helped validate that drug to our community. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's not only service of the people, but service of history. That we keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Because this is supposed a lot. Because it's easy to have like a reactionary response about the George Bushes and like even the Trump. You know what I'm saying? But that was a dynamic that you seen many people's actual interests be expressed and be exposed. And this is a continuous political education. Even the excuses that people would throw out, like, he had to go through Congress, so on and so forth. You see in the limited time that Trump has been in office, and I'm not no Trump supporter.
Not me either,
but
not at all.
This dude pulls a pen out, consistently. Executive mandate. You know what I'm saying? Every time we reach for his pen, people shook up. Like, what is he finna sign or pull today? As opposed to the political filibustering and excuses that, the Obama administration, that lots of the people themselves were caught pleased. He never even said he was going to do nothing for the black community. The people make up excuses and never even acknowledge us in public. We wouldn't go for that in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? If you see a lady, hey, she said, well, I don't want to talk to you in public. Wait till next term, I acknowledge you. You know what I'm saying? Never, you wouldn't go for it. We were told to go for this.
Was there a limit of political prisoners that he could have signed, got out, commune?
There was more attention under the Obama administration in regards to pardoning turkeys during Thanksgiving. That was, it was a big publicity campaign. Bring the turkeys in to Thanksgiving holiday. It was a big, importance placed on pardoning turkeys. Turkeys, you know what I'm saying? Which is a thing they do, but it was more emphasis. This, you know what I'm saying, in regard, and it negates and devalue the contradiction that a lot of people don't even know there were actually that political prisons even existed. You know what I'm saying? And I know this is a touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? They go to I forgot the guy's name. The transgender that was in the army. They pardon. The different moves that you do, like politics is like real estate, time and location, what you say when you say it. So even what list, who you acknowledge, all of this, it sends a message to respective communities. It's like everything ranging from this. The first time you seen tears come from his eyes was in regards to the situation in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, with the white children. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, at the same time, the cadavers and the bodies in the city of Chicago, which they people claim he's supposed to be from. And one time somebody said, well, he did mention Chicago. I said, even in speech writing class, they tell you when you mention something, how you mention it, it denotes the importance of how you see it. Mind you, even when he was in Africa, in Ghana, the door of no return. I had the opportunity to get back home, but people I never met nobody that's been there that say that they have not been infected. They related to our people during the era of chattel slavery. When he was there were white children with the Peace Corps that was there, and African people right there. He did not even acknowledge them. He acknowledged the white children from Peace Corps, and went as far as to say that this brings back things about the atrocities of Buchenwald. Referencing Nazi Germany. This is in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so
That's twisted.
the deal is it's like you keep on with like you even when you jump in the car, you trying to get a jump, somebody trying to help you jump your car off. At some point, you know what, man? There's no connection. This battery it's no life. There's no connection to this. You know what I'm saying? You can check. Maybe it's the cables. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we didn't. People attacking the community. Well, did you tell them what you wanted? All you come on, check the cables. Check this. Did you start?
Yeah, I heard that today. Somebody said, "Well, what else could he have done?" What? I'm like,
that's some of the
what else?
Some of the creative ideas he came with respond to every other community. You talking about at the Democratic Convention, not even acknowledge us. I mean, to mention every other interest, every other community, just not to even, again, that hurts in a relationship, not to be acknowledged. Before we can talk about, resources and all that. I mean, you were talking about Ralph Ellison, Invisible Men. Like we didn't even exist. Well, for the record, he did acknowledge black men in particular. And Father's Day, when he berated us, went in on us. One of the few days that, you know what I'm saying, all our contradictions, we all got them. One of the few days we can come through our families and say, okay, man, get your shorts set on, your clothes. On one of the few days, you know what I'm saying, even though we don't push these pagan holidays, but this is something that in the community, we take it is what it is.
That's right.
We take it and make it work,
That's right.
Adaptable to our people. One of the few days is okay, we've been on the plantation all day. I've been going through situations with our family.
Right.
One day, let me take my children out, so and so. Bam, right hook, left hook. Go back and pull that speech up. Go pull the visceral, the attack. So that's when he did acknowledge us.
Wow. What you think, Mike?
Well, I think the example that really hits directly to us here in Chicago is the fact that he endorsed a man with no history of having a relationship to his people, black people. Mm-hmm. He endorsed a man who was a congressman, but used the weight of his office to oppose every piece of legislation, every program or policy that the so-called Black Caucus, Congressional Black Caucus, tried to advance in Congress on our behalf. He stood in front of it and beat it back and beat it down. He never voted once in favor of anything that the Congressional Black Caucus offered to Congress on behalf of black people. I'm talking about Mayor Emanuel. Mayor Emanuel had no track record. There was nothing in his pedigree, his profile, or his portfolio that would suggest that he would look out for the people of Barack Obama. So now we know he's not a black man from America, quote unquote. His father was a Kenyan. His mother was a Caucasian woman. However, we are the descendants of Kenyans and others. And so we are still bone of each other's bone, flesh of each other's flesh. And so his rise is by attaching himself to those of us who came out of the womb here on the shores of North America, the United States of America in particular. So he has some obligation to us at all levels. And so when you look at the fact that he never once has engaged the mayor in a way that would make the mayor more empathetic, more responsible to black people in Chicago, who are the base of his victories. We are the base of the Democratic Party in Chicago. That says a lot. That says a whole lot. And so Barack Obama has proven without a doubt that his commitment is to every other interest but black people, especially poor black people. So I think what you're saying is just sobering, and as a people, we're so emotional about as you said, symbol and not substance. We are so ripe for the cult of personality.
Yeah.
So they sell us on everything in life through person. Now this is a virus in America in general. I mean, they sell us toothpaste with naked women. They sell us socks with naked women. They sell us a Cadillac with a naked woman. So America itself has been dumbed down, right? America itself is manipulated by emotion, by iconography, by personality. But it's 100 times worse among Black people because we have the least stable, the least functional, the least solid quality of identity of anybody else in America. So when you don't have an identity, it's easier for you psychologically to attach yourself to somebody that is presented to you as an icon. And this is how Obama came to us. He was sold to us by what we call the bourgeois elite. He was sold to the Black community by the elite Blacks who controlled the mass media mechanisms that reach the masses of Black people. He was paraded before us and endorsed by them. And so when they endorse somebody, they have the power to bombard us with who they want us to fall in love with. And so that's really what has happened. And some of us, a lot of us have awakened to the fact that we got duped, right? Like a lot of people are awakening to the fact that they got duped voting for Donald Trump. But it's far more of us, especially those who grew up and were old enough to be involved in the civil rights movement. Those generations, it is very difficult for them to detach themselves just from the symbol of having a Black man in the White House. They don't know how to navigate that emotionally. The fact that he never did anything to help Black people.
And it really, really bothered me to know that Sharpton, out of all of the people, Al Sharpton, even Jay-Z, they went inside of the White House more than any Black man or woman. Jay-Z and Al Sharpton. Now, what credibility does Al Sharpton have to be in there? I know he didn't let Jesse in because Jesse said something, but he wasn't going to get in no way. You know, but this man lived right down the street. And that's why I'm telling you all can say what you want to say. There's no love lost for the brother, but I'm disappointed that he have lured, or you lured yourself to sleep. You've rocked yourself. And when you mention about that battery, it's like domestic violence. You know, this man beating you up, beating the female up, beating her up. Bad. The police come. She want to jump on the police for trying to pull her out of the abuse. Our people have gotten accustomed to being abused, and they don't know how to get away from being abused. So we like to be lied to. Now that's why I said this rock star stuff. Look, you think it's an accident that you got a stupid clown like Steve Harvey on all these shows and radios? Because he keeping us asleep. It's big news that Jay Anthony is back on a stupid show. You think they could pay Bill O'Reilly $25 million just to go? Because it's keeping people asleep. 40 million. It ain't nothing bright about them. But let's go back to the work that you do, the work that Torchlight does, the work that the New Black Leadership does, the work like many activists are doing, that we have to continue to do this work because people that are in positions to help the poor don't do a damn thing, brother. That's why we got a problem, because our community is not making no damn advances. And all these folks in Springfield or in Washington, D.C., why we got to keep begging? Then anybody can come and get a loan or a grant to open up some stupid inferior business in our community. Then we got Black men who we keep making excuses for. Yeah, he had to condemn Reverend Wright. Trump ain't condemned the damn Ku Klux Klan. They got a history of killing black people. Reverend Wright ain't did nothing to nobody. And definitely the Honorable Minister Farrakhan never done nothing but good for black people. And then you can't even go and reconcile it. Y'all can love him. Or we don't stop loving him and his family. But if you're a fool, if all you want to do is make excuses for the brother, I'm not going to make no excuses, because I see what our people going through. And if you ain't pained and hurt by what you see, and that's why the damn new black leadership is up here and doing what we doing, because you got too many people, just like a bunch of reverends who you know are not sincere, giving you the same spiel, and you walk away every Sunday with undeveloped scriptures, you know, on an undeveloped mind, after you hear from people that don't really care about your livelihood, ain't pushing you to be healthy, ain't pushing you to take on a mindset that you can do for self, that you can go and organize your community and do the basic things. Yeah, we got to clean up our own house. Yeah, we got to clean up our own community. Yeah, we got to do for ourselves. Yeah, we don't need to depend on government. If you want to play the political game and you want to play that all black people are Democrats and we blah, 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 now all of a sudden we want to play. I love what Minister Farrakhan said. Politics without economics is symbol without substance. And all we've had is symbol. But I mean, I get pissed because the new black leadership and the movement that you all are doing, brother, the work, it's only because nobody cares about the poor. Nobody cares about the downtrodden. The downtrodden don't care about themselves. They keep giving handouts and bailouts and all kind of crap to everybody else but black people. Take away the resources from all the other people and see what they do.
Real talk. Real talk. You said, I'm thinking about the rock star analogy. In an episode of the Boondocks on Aaron Magruder, and he told me the whole Barack Obama campaign to the different artists that they had deployed, they brought in, to sell them. My brother Mr. Mike talked about literally sell him. And historically, like Rome had a whole tactic, like even like a special arena or interest. They bring the entertainers in. In fact, they would have a tactic when Roman centuries were off conquering other lands, and they knew some of the soldiers and centuries were depleted. So they would say, increase the games. Entertain the people, because the people got worried that we had a low with the soldiers, they might uprise. So they would say, increase the games. So the whole problem historically, what the most downtrodden of the communities and our people, historically, the whole dynamic of working that whole entertainment, and bring them out as spokesperson, leadership, so on and so forth, and they work that number. And I think back to George Bush Jr., the son, where he had they got the Spring Harm Medal Award, and they had for Alan Greenspan of International Monetary Fund. And other white people, but then it was for Aretha Franklin. Nothing, no slight on her, but how they do our community. You can go back to entertainer. Barack Obama, inauguration of Barack Obama. You look
who Trump me with
Beyonce. Exactly,
a football player, a former football player, a stupid comedian.
They do to our people. They asked Malcolm X one time. They say, well, Jackie Robinson disagrees with your position about violence. Malcolm responded. He said, "Wait a minute. We don't hold up Bob Hope or Marilyn Monroe as your spokespersons. You know what I'm saying? So that the insult they do. I can recall some years back, an ambassador from Venezuela. We was talking. He's naming all the different representatives from different communities, the freedom fighters that he had met with. And someone asked him, "What from our people, from the black community? Who did you meet with?" And he said, "The drummers from Washington D.C." I said, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute.
No,
I said, wait a minute.
Chairman.
Yes. I said, wait a minute.
The drummers.
The drummers. And he told me
what I just said.
He told
it's
me
not an accident.
And he told me, he said, I didn't mean no. I said, but you just named. I mean, he would. I mean, detail for different national, their freedom fighters, their political prisoners, and he just said like it was just no problem.
It's staged. They don't want to be authentic.
And they feel what they see is important with us. It's a joke. It's like you said, I mean, literally a dog and pony show.
Look at the mentorship. Yeah. Look at these cats that's claiming to be mentors that they meet with giving them money. They ain't never did no damn mentoring in their life. So they decided this would be a good way of getting us some money. We doing mentorship. Hell, you ain't been doing it. I was doing it back 25 years ago for free, and now all of a sudden here comes some Negroes.
They raise them.
They comfortable with.
Yes.
They comfortable with. Because they con men.
Yes.
They get con men money because the con men, all they want to do is keep conning. Yeah. Do they really care about little Joey? Hell no. Because if you really cared, you would have been doing it for free. And none of them have a track record forever working on behalf of young black boys in our community. But all of a sudden, they running over to the University of Chicago, to get research that's been researched, and researched again. See, that's a insult to our community. And you said it right. And that's why I'm always on these clowns. You got Ricky Smiley on. You got this comedian on. You got Tom Jordan with clowns on. Why? Because bring out the clowns for us. Nobody with substance.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the way it works. Yeah. They're going to turn the channel if you get too serious. Yeah. Some of them turning Facebook now because they would rather have a preacher come on right now and tell everybody and play some real nice spiritual music. We all get emotional and all the stars, all you see is hearts going across the screen.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the difference is this. Now, white people have entertainment format in the mornings as well, right? Mm-hmm. But the difference is this. White people have been socialized in more of a functional way. They've been socialized in an environment that has created institutions to support white privilege.
Yeah.
And particularly white male supremacy. So they have all the means and mechanisms of self-expression, self-determination. In fact, the ability to impose their will on everybody else in the United States of America, and particularly around the world. The difference with black people is we have been so we've been socialized in a way that it's very hard for us to separate entertainment from power. We really don't understand political power, economic power, intellectual power. We really don't understand that. The ceiling of power for us is an appointment, a job, or a degree. And so on those things only afford you positions in a system. And if the system is not a system set up for the total freedom, liberation, and empowerment of your people, then you're in a system that is placing you there to manage the affairs of somebody else. And so when you have a people that are so hedged in like that, right? We can't afford to only be entertained. We can't afford to be, just really hypnotized by buffoonery. Because now the entertainment becomes social control.
Yes.
Whereas with whites and others, it's not social control because they're listening. They're listening while the mother's still in the home with the father, and they're still teaching about Irish history, Italian history, German history, Hispanic, Mexican, or Colombian, or Guatemalan, or Nigerian. Everybody's got a culture and a history, so they can be entertained because culture gives them buoyancy in the real world. They know the separation between entertainment and the instruments of power and self-determination. That has been stripped from us.
And that's why you see BET, just what you just said, with garbage all day long.
Absolutely.
And the shows that they have all day long, stupid shows. I mean, no, Empire is stupid. It is stupid. And we stuck on stupid. And that's why if you want to get upset because you don't see progress, it's because you are preoccupied with poisoning your brain all day long, and you don't go down the street to engage and see how we can come up with real solutions to transform our damn community. And we worried about outside forces, but inside forces, we'll go to church and play like we saved and we super Christian and blah, blah, blah. And then come back to the neighborhood and don't say a damn thing to the man suffering or the misguided youth that's sagging. Don't say nothing to him. But yet we all fascinated over some political office, yet socially we are totally man backwards. And all the leadership that we've had, I mean, to this day, something wrong with you out there. And I'm telling you, you could be my Facebook friend. You could delete me, but something wrong with you if you don't know nothing about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the Honorable Marcus Garvey or our Honorable brother Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton. You don't know nothing about Kwame. You don't know nothing about Noble Drew Ali. You don't know nothing about any of them until Black History comes. Then all of a sudden we wearing dashikis and all of a sudden we acting as though we into this. And as Mike said it right, that piece that you just said, the culture piece, it is part of their culture. So they don't get lost in that entertainment. We lost in it. I mean, we so lost in it. And look, we so lost in it that our women won't even recognize the pure beauty that they have. So they got to go and make up. Everything got to be phony. That's scary.
You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and others always said that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And so if we can dumb down women, if we can make women feel inferior, if we can strip them of their own sense of worthiness in the skin that the Creator put them in, if we can make them void of the value of themselves and the natural beauty the Creator endowed, if we can make them see, you know, it's amazing how many Black women, grown mothers, teachers, principals, etc. You catch them on the weekend, they got a Marilyn Monroe shirt on.
Wow.
You know, so I saw my daughter coming out of school one day, Chairman, and she had a Marilyn Monroe shirt on, right? Well, I guess her mama bought the shirt. So I really had to drop something on her mind because our women don't realize that we can never be free as long as they believe in white folks, as long as they put that they have blind faith in this system. They believe in the corporations that feed them. They believe in the institutions that degree them and award them these letters. They really believe that that's all it is to the world and to life. And so we talk about Jesus, or we talk about Muhammad, or we talk about the prophets in church on Sunday. But our women, when they leave the church, they really believe in corporate America, you know, in a lot of ways more than they believe in God Almighty. And so, you know, when you bring that point up, it's not by accident that our children do not have a love of themselves, because if your mother does not put that that taste in your mouth to seek out knowledge about who you are and your culture, your history, your heritage, if your mother don't give you that beyond your immediate family of origin to understand, a lot of us got family pride. We got a big family. We all, we the Taylor family, the Taylors, the Parhams, the whatever. Yeah. But when you get outside of the fact that the Parham was the original Parham was a slave owner, and how we got in the hands of Parham or Taylor or Johnson or Smith or whoever in the first place, we don't have any desire to know ourselves as a people. So we cannot win until we get to a critical mass of people that understand this and want to have that breakthrough. So that's why we have people like Chairman Fred Sr. and others who understood we need real revolution. We need revolution, and we don't need revolution just with guns and munitions, because that's not going to work until we get our consciousness together. And if we get our consciousness together, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, our unity is more powerful than an atomic or nuclear bomb. So the unity, if we can get enough of us to move in the same direction with the same or very near same rhythm, we can overthrow this condition. And that's the burden that we've all accepted and been called to when we call ourselves leaders.
Yeah, and that's why we as black men and black women, we got to see our community as a family again. And as long as we continue to, and I said this analogy, we take our food into the room. We don't sit at the table. Revolution. See, because revolution is change.
That's right.
So the culture is the change. We have to get back to where we belong. They have us so entertained. We so sleep. Did we ever wake up? We thought waking up was a long line to go and vote. That wasn't waking up. In some respects, we went back to sleep because we took for granted the movement. And some people never been involved. How you gonna say you preach the word of God and you ain't part of the movement? You a lie. You don't work for God, because God worked for the downtrodden. God worked for the people. God speak truth to power. And if you really Christ-like, then you ain't no damn coward.
Real talk.
And you don't go along to get along. And what we have is a bunch of folks. That's why when I read some of the comments on Facebook regarding, Barack Obama, it's like, look, man, I love the brother and his wife and his family. But I have the right to be disappointed because I know right from wrong. I'm logical. Our people have degress, not progress, in 8 years. Say, well, you can't blame him. He the president. Well, then tell me in 8 years where America has gotten better as a whole.
Well, actually, I just read a report. I can't remember the source, but they did a study during the 8-year period of President Obama's tenure, and they looked at it from an educational perspective to see if the acquisition of 4-year or more degrees had lifted Black people economically. And according to this report, which I can't quote verbatim, but had I known I was going to be on air, I would have brought it. But the report, when they did the assessment, it showed that Black people in those 8 years lost financial strength. And whites during those 8 years that got degrees gained financial strength. And so something is at work that's very methodical and very systematic, that even though we're getting more degrees, we're earning less money, we're accumulating less wealth, even though we're getting more formal education. And so until we can deal with the cold, harsh realities of those type of truths, you can't even consider yourself a leader. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why we can't afford to have black elected officials that feel like they doing, you're casting votes with the mayor, you're casting votes with the governor, you casting votes, and you putting together these little penny ante policies that don't have anything to do with helping poor black people. You ain't fighting against the banks. You're not fighting against the insurances. You're not fighting no major, you never hear them fight no major cause, but they always jump on the air and want us to get behind them with some BS thing about a stoplight, or you know, or they won't take the stoplights away, but you know what I'm saying,
destruction.
You know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we're as a people, we've got to get much more intelligent about who we let call themselves a leader for us, because most of us ain't worth a damn as leaders.
No, and that's why, you know, I said what I said earlier, man. The bottom line is, when you assess exactly what you just said, you got people that are asleep. We have gotten accustomed and used to this abusive relationship, this disrespect. And it is sad because there is absolutely no fear in them in terms of, I'm gonna lose my good job. I like this job. But yet you don't want to serve the people. God got your back. When you serving the people, the Creator got you. Well, now, if you don't believe that, then that's on you.
No doubt.
Do you think that I come all the way to this station? I'm part of the new black. You don't think I have a lot already on my plate? But this is important to me. This is important. It should be important to all of us, that if we really truly care, it's that fire that's in you, that fire that's in Mike, that fire that is in me, that fire that's in Obadiah, that fire that is in David, that fire, man, that's in Dr. Kelly, that fire that's in our sister Kim Delaney, that fire, man, that's in TJ Crawford, that fire, man, that's in Brother Lance Williams, Professor Lance Williams. That's fire, man, that was in Joe Watkins. That fire that was in Chris Moore. That's fire, man, that's in them. They ain't to be played with, because we understand, man, that, look, all of those people that came before us that we marvel at, they weren't no punks. All of them took a stand. You gotta die any damn way. So why die a coward?
God would say, men of consequences, men of conscience don't fear. Men of earnest don't fear consequences. Men of earnest. Men of earnest do not fear consequences. You know, I was telling brother earlier today, one of the cats on the street leadership told me some years ago, he said, Chairman Fred, you crazy to my dying for the people. I said, cats dying for cars, drugs, and strips. You sound crazy?
But some of y'all die for food.
That's right.
You die, and some of them die for food.
And they can't kill the cats. I mean, our ideas and our principles live on. So, you know, hey, B goes on.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, and I just think, man, like I said, we got 3 minutes left. And as I was saying, you know, we got to expose these fake mentor programs that's out here playing like they really care about our young people, man. And they just hustlers. They're hustlers. And you know, we got to pray that even some of our brothers is on the radio, the black stations. You know, I thank God for the Butt Naked Truth, Brother Harold Davis and his crew. Lord have mercy. Thank you. 1570 AM, boy.
Tuesday through Friday, y'all.
Man, from 2. No, seriously, thank God for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I love Cliff. He's a friend, a brother. But Cliff done watered down Cliff version now. It's just, it's sad. Everybody great and wonderful. You know, you can't be like that, man. You know, you got to put some challenge to these folks. You can't play all day with them. I was at an event this past Saturday, and I was giving back to Autism Active, out there trying to make a difference. I was out there doing exercise, but with the children.
Yeah.
Man, I had a whole lot to do with muscle spasms.
Yeah.
I'm out there for free.
Yeah.
So you can't sacrifice to give back. Minister Mike take up all of his time organizing this whole movement, the new black leadership, and that's why we have to take it serious, man. Because if we don't, who's gonna be out here? The work that you're doing, who's out here doing that? Brother, you can go on and find a job someplace else, you and the brother, and just go on and put your money in the bank and just worry about yourself and eat yourself to death. But that ain't what you're doing. You wake up every day, man, trying to make a difference. Minister Mike with his ministry, Torchlight, he ain't got to do this.
Real talk.
And I'm saying that to the people, we got to get involved. We fascinated over a damn symbolic office that we didn't get hardly jack from.
Man, that's right. Real talk.
I'm just calling it like it
Real
is.
talk.
So we got to wrap it up, man. Y'all go ahead with some closing comments. Really appreciate you, man, stepping in.
Oh man, I'm honored and humble. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to being back and being black with you, my brothers. Again, I'm honored and humble here. Let's continue to make history, take history, and tape history. Anybody gonna save us but us, y'all.
I love it.
Real talk.
Go ahead,
Thank
Minister
you,
Mike.
thank you, Chairman. I just want to thank the Chairman for sitting in. We were expecting Professor Lance tonight. We had a time confusion, and so just the creator worked it out.
Yes, indeed.
That he
Right
had,
on.
he
Yes,
had,
indeed.
as the Bible say, a lamb waiting in the bush.
Yes,
and
indeed.
that was you.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so it's always an honor, brother, to be
Always.
to hear from you, brother. I want to encourage you to stay focused on the work that you're doing,
Yes,
stepping
sir.
in the shoes and the shadow of a very, very huge giant in the history of our struggle, your father.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Give
Let's
thanks,
increase the love in our community. Let's increase the love in humanity. But you can't love no one else until you first love yourself and know yourself. Anyway, thank you, Brother Earl Winfrey, here at Intellectual Radio, that does a unbelievable, phenomenal job. And he a millionaire. Anyway, thank you.
Doing the same old thing. You tell me change is in the near distance, but all I see is your blatant resistance.